there's no platform that allowed to, that facilitated this and allowed businesses or a small business to really scale their communication with customers.
So one is communication that is being solved for
Correct.
SMB. It is very easy to reach out to customer on
Correct.
WhatsApp. That is the first reason. So, but being a remote team, having a remote team, so how exactly that was infectious feeling was transformed?
Perhaps it's not that easy to do that, or perhaps there might be a certain luck factor as well that's involved.
Anything around ChatGPT that you would love to share?
I think as a marketer, our sole responsibility is to be honest.
One line by which people should remember Interakt,
Oh,
other than the brand name itself.
as a platform that got India selling on WhatsApp.
Interesting. Again, can you repeat again? In 2019, Jio acquired a majority stake in Haptic, and post that, Haptic used to focus on enterprise clients, and Interakt, that is an SME division, used to focus on SMEs. So we have Ahshad Jussawala, who is business head of Interakt, that is an SME division of Jio Haptic. So we have here Ahshad. How are you, Ahshad?
Very well. Great to be here, Kushal bhai. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So can you share your journey with Interakt? How exactly, what came in the mind of people on the board of Haptic? Why exactly a new vertical called Interakt?
Sure.
And why such a good name, Interakt?
Great. So, while Haptic always focused on very big enterprise clients, right? I think they felt there was an inherent need, obviously, in the market where SMBs were not being given the opportunity to get access to all the, fancy tools and all the platforms that big brands enjoy, right?
Yes.
And I think the thought was to kind of be able to democratize that technology and put it in the hands of every business out there.
Yes.
And considering the Jio legacy, right?
Mhm.
Like the aim and the vision is always to kind of reach out to the masses, right? And I think that's where Interakt was born. So what started actually as a side hustle during the pandemic actually turned out to be a full-fledged business, right? Contributing significantly to Haptic, of course. And, there's been no looking back. We've been seeing 25% growth quarter on quarter. And I think that's the journey that's been so far.
So interesting. So how many businesses able to use the Interakt service?
Sure. So today, 6,000 and more brands, and these are small, medium businesses, primarily in India, but across the globe as well, use the Interakt product. Answering your question about why the name Interakt, I think it kind of fits really well, right? Like, I mean, that's what the platform is all about. It's about encouraging small business to interact more with their consumers. It's about conversational commerce, obviously, and putting the conversation back into commerce, because what we saw in the days of the e-commerce explosion was obviously people went onto the websites and they started shopping, etc. But that human touch was really lost, right? And this human element has been going on for ages, where consumers and brands conversed and then engaged into a sale, and then that was the journey so far. But with e-commerce, obviously, that didn't happen a lot, or that wasn't possible. But now, in the age of conversational commerce and platforms like WhatsApp in specific, right? We're seeing more and more brands and consumers interacting with each other, which finally, after that communication and interaction that happens, it kind of results in some sort of commerce and sale at the end of it. And I think that's how the name Interakt also kind of fits in seamlessly.
So there are multiple communication platforms, out of which what was the core reason of selecting WhatsApp as a primary communication channel?
Sure. I think, that's a no-brainer, right? Because today, 500 million people in India use WhatsApp as a platform, right? It's a de facto choice. I mean, I think we wake up with WhatsApp, we go to bed with WhatsApp, right? And then throughout the day, we're communicating with brands, even your grocery store, etc. You place an order on WhatsApp, and this kind of exploded during the pandemic again. So I think the choice was very simple to make. We wanted to, reach out to as many users and merchants as possible, and I think WhatsApp was the perfect choice for that.
And what are the key challenges that you are solving for SMB businesses, specifically challenges that are very important to them?
Sure. Issues that today SMBs kind of face is the fact that they're always constrained by various things, right? It could be finance, it could be team, mostly boiling down again to how do I manage my customers at scale, etc. And that's the kind of core problem that we are trying to solve, because today, as you grow your brand, you obviously get a lot of inquiries, you get a lot of conversations happening, but there's no platform that allowed to that facilitated this and allowed businesses or a small business to really scale their communication with customers.
So one is communication that is being solved for
Correct.
SMB. It is very easy to reach out to customer on
Correct.
WhatsApp. That is the first reason.
Correct.
Second
Correct.
is sales. Easy to get conversion out of sales.
Correct. Correct.
Anything that that would be that is very important for them. But right till date they were not able to solve it.
Yeah, I think they've been doing this for the longest time on WhatsApp.
I guess
even.
WhatsApp they must be using.
Correct.
But how exactly Interakt helped them?
Correct. So exactly what you said, right? Like what the concept of using WhatsApp for business is nothing new, but the ability to scale their business using WhatsApp was obviously missing, because WhatsApp was not built with that mindset. Of course, they have an SMB app, etc., but it was not built with the mindset that small businesses would probably be using this at that sort of scale, right? And the moment we talk about scale for a business, we're talking about, as we said, additional conversations, a lot more information that needs to be disseminated. Promotions and marketing is obviously a key challenge for any small business, right? We all know the success rate of emails and SMS, right? And WhatsApp is one platform that enjoys 97% readability, and
so one side email is at 10%,
correct.
WhatsApp is at 97%.
Correct. And reply rates on WhatsApp are what, like 68%, I guess. I mean, that's insane, right? That's pretty much unheard of. So by default, that becomes very obvious choice for any merchant to kind of advocate the brand on WhatsApp.
So any customer story that you would like to share that created difference in their life?
Yeah. So, at Interakt, we have a very tight integration with Shopify and other e-commerce platforms. One such story that comes to my mind is of a brand called the State Plate, right? So they're a brand who does, of course, D2C brand who is into delivering, regional goodies or regional foodstuffs across India. Once they implemented Interakt in the WhatsApp platform, what they witnessed was a 2x increase in their abandoned cart recoveries, right? Great. And also a 40% increase in their engagement. So I think that worked out pretty well for them. Another case that comes to mind is of a sweet shop called Bandar Mithai, right? And what they saw 12x ROAS on their campaign spends that they did on
12x,
correct, via WhatsApp, right? So I think that just kind of goes to prove that WhatsApp as a channel is also is really effective medium in terms of not just promotions, but also customer engagement and retention. So, yeah, and a lot of brands see their average order values going up a couple of times.
So, what could be the core reason of this success?
I think it's primarily what we said, right? It's the high touch environment that WhatsApp is on, right? It's a personal space to a user, so that's very important that we maintain that kind of balance between business communications and personal communications, and don't step on that line. But I think that's the primary reason, right? Like people are engaged on WhatsApp at any given point of time.
Usually people feel like it is less, a brand should not be intrusive in nature.
Correct.
So how exactly brands do take care while not offending their privacy?
Correct. So I think there's a very thin line when it comes to blatantly promoting marketing and then keeping in touch with your customer, right? And I don't think consumers have a problem when the communication is relevant, right? And it's meant for me. It's sent at the right time. In fact, it can be very beneficial at at certain points in the journey. I think brands just need to be aware that they're not overdoing it. They're not spamming their users. Of course, they have consent from the users, and there's very high intent when they send the communication to an individual. I think that's something that needs to be taken care of.
So now there are many brands who would like to know how to scale a brand. Like here, you created impact from 0 to 8,000 businesses. Okay, so most of the brands would brand owners and startups would love to know how to scale this, because it's till reaching to 100 200 customer, it's quite the way of working is different. from
Correct.
200 to 1000 would be different, and
Correct.
1000 to 10,000 you are going to reach a milestone of impacting 10,000 businesses.
Correct.
So many SaaS companies would also be eager to know how exactly this is being done. We would like to know the secret recipe.
Yeah, so I think honestly, there's no secret sauce, right? It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears
Right.
that go into building any brand. It's getting to work every day, doing what you're doing, and keep doing it and iterating. I think the core out here is right to be really fast and quick in iteration, learn from direct feedback from customers, right? Be very close to your customers in the early days, get that initial feedback, build that momentum, and of course, any brand is built on the people that work for it, and of course customers, right? Like, I mean, I think that's the crux of it. You need to build a lot of goodwill in the market, and that has a multiplying effect over a period of time. Yeah.
And I could relate to it because as we were initially 5 customers of Interakt, and I could remember that we used to get feedback calls, and also initially while interacting with multiple team member product team, they were actively listening to those feedback, and actually, yeah, that works.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to do it.
Correct. Yeah. And there has to be a mindset, usually a startup mindset, where as I can see on your website as well, it's written that you are building an ownership mindset.
Correct.
And that is quite difficult. Every brand can evolve only when there are multiple people having ownership mindset. Correct. Rather than just 2 or 3 people at the top. Correct. So how exactly you're creating, we would like to know in detail, because obviously that is something that everyone would like to have, maximum people having ownership mindset.
Correct. Yeah, while it's not natural for everyone to have an ownership mindset in any team, right? But ownership is something that is very infectious, right? So given you're pushing all the right buttons, given you're really passionate about the problem that you're solving, your product, your team, right? That just kind of spreads, I think, to the rest of the team, and then obviously selecting your next layer of command, and then they making the right choice in the next level of people that they are hiring. That obviously plays a key role. But having those right people that kind of share that vision is very important. And then obviously, as I said, it's just infectious atmosphere, just the energy that needs to be brought in, the ownership mindset that you bring to the brand yourself, that has a cascading effect down the line. And I think that's what somehow has worked for us.
Yeah. So, but being a remote team, having a remote team, so how exactly that was infectious feeling was transformed?
Yeah, I think again, right, like perhaps it's not that easy to do that, or perhaps there might be a certain luck factor as well that's involved. But I think the distance doesn't really matter. Obviously, the distance and remote definitely is a challenging factor. But I think, leaving it up to team members to do their best, entrusting them with responsibilities, and allowing them to make mistakes and fail. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I think the moment teams feel that they will be penalized for making mistakes, I think that is where fear sets in. That's where apprehension sets in, and that's where the team starts to crumble and people don't take that ownership. I think you really need to let your team know that, it's fine if they do make mistakes. We'll come out of it. We'll learn from it. We'll be stronger.
So how exactly you're creating this high impact culture?
Yeah. I think high impact cultures are not a function of HR. They're not built by team bonding lunches. They're not built by team activities, etc. I think again that it's just a mindset. As I said, right? Culture is how you kind of interact one-on-one with everyone, keeping an open mindset, giving everyone a chance to kind of voice their opinions is also very important in building that culture. And as I said, right, people don't need to be fearful of failing. I think that's automatically kind of translates into a great culture.
Interesting. So any specific thing that you would like to share about the vision? What is a vision? What is a way forward? Means as industry is also evolving, and like ChatGPT is coming, where people would be directly connecting with. Most of the time, they will be connecting directly to ChatGPT and not doing Google search and other stuff. So will it? How exactly it will impact the current business, or will it enhance the current business?
Yeah, there's a lot of shift happening in the world today, right? Conversational AI is kicking off, and competitive landscape is getting even harder day by day. I think the one thing that stands out, right, and aligns to our vision is that we're very clear from day one that we want to make a significant impact in the lives of small businesses, as I said, right? These are the ones who need the maximum attention and help, providing them with really simplified, easy to use tools, right, which can help them leverage the potential of WhatsApp or any other platform that they are engaging with their customers on. I think that is clear in our vision. From time to time, the path or the course that you take might kind of vary and change. But as long as you have that at the back of your head, your vision is clear, you know that you're going to get there at some point.
So vision is more about solving the problem rather than
Correct.
building a tool kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And, I come from that background as well. I've been a small business owner myself, ran a software services company for 9 years, etc.
Interesting.
So, we understand the pain points of small businesses, right? Like we've been in those shoes at one point of time. And we always saw the same, we also encountered the same problems, right? There's a solution available for everything, but everything comes at a price, of course. Can a small business really afford to leverage? Do they have the bandwidth to kind of employ those tools, and do they have the capability to do that? I think these are the questions that really need to be thought of, and that's coming back to Interakt, and that's where what we stand for is kind of simplifying the whole process and making it life easier for these merchants.
And that could be the reason of making it affordable as well.
Absolutely
Keeping
right.
the price at 999
Yes,
per month.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We absolutely want it to be affordable and the hands of any business that can want to leverage the potential of a platform like Interakt.
Right. So out of many small medium enterprises, any specific business segment that is an ideal customer for Interakt?
Yeah, so we work very closely with a lot of D2C brands, right? Because the use cases are just perfect for WhatsApp in the sense that, every time there's an order placed or a cart abandoned, you can automate these notifications that go out or these alerts that go out to end users, right? I think D2C is a very important segment.
D2C is the most important. Okay.
Yes.
Then?
And then, of course, we have merchants from across the base, right? Like you'll have people in real estate, education, healthcare, all verticals are now opening up to using and exploiting the full potential of a platform on WhatsApp.
Okay, interesting. Anything around ChatGPT that you would love to share?
Yeah, I think in the very nascent stage, but something that we'll definitely be looking into at Interakt also, because, as I said, the idea is to make the job of the merchant or the small merchant really easy. And if ChatGPT can solve for that, then why not, for sure.
Any advice for marketers while brands and marketers who are building the brands? So any advice for them?
I think as a marketer, our sole responsibility is to be honest, right? And genuine. And that needs to come out when you're either creating an ad or communicating with end clients, etc. I think people aren't stupid anymore. They're very well aware of, the pros, cons, etc. of everything in today's world. And I think, as I said, being honest and just being upfront is something that marketers really need to absorb and imbibe by.
One line by which people should remember Interakt?
Other
than the brand name itself.
As a platform that got India selling on WhatsApp.
Interesting. Again, can you repeat again?
So the platform that any business can start selling to on WhatsApp. So we'd like to go by the tagline that Ab India bechega WhatsApp pe.
Great. So, 2 books that you would recommend to people who are building SaaS business or any new startup?
Sure. I'm glad you asked me for 2 books because that's the max I've read in terms of books, right? But yeah, 2 great books, right? One is The Lean Startup.
Lean Startup.
Yeah. And the other is Hooked, right? And both are very slightly product oriented, right? Because I think any good brand or business needs to have a solid product at the back. And the only way to do a product, right? And both these talk about very similar things in slightly different ways, though, is while the Lean Startup speaks specifically about how to take user feedback, adapt very quickly, make iterations, and then keep churning out until you find the right product market fit. Hooked, on the other hand, speaks about how do you really get your customers to start actively using your product, and how important it is for you to get them to the wow moment in the first couple of days or the first couple of hours of their interaction with your tool or product. And I think both of these books do a fantastic job at telling the story. That's what I pretty much go by, right, in real world also, is exactly this, right? That iterate fast, build quickly, get user feedback quickly, and I think that's the secret to any winning product.
Great. So why brands are using WhatsApp marketing? What are the specific thing that attracts them using WhatsApp, and why? How exactly whether they are increasing the investments day by day, anything like that?
Yeah, I think as we said, right. There are about 200 million online shoppers in India, and on the other hand, on WhatsApp we have 500 million users, right? So even a large population of the country, tier 2, tier 3 towns, etc., who do not do or engage in online transactions or online shopping, they definitely have access to WhatsApp. And this is what makes the proposition and of WhatsApp so enticing for brands, right? Because today brands are looking for ways on how do they tap into the next 100 million customers. Those customers again don't exist anywhere else apart from WhatsApp as a platform. And I think that's that's why brands are definitely trying to tap into the WhatsApp ecosystem. And also the fact that WhatsApp is a very simple to use platform, and it supports so many native languages, right? And that's what makes it even more sticky for merchants.
So initially a view came before 10-15 years, people were moving towards e-commerce and mobile app. So all the business were putting more efforts on bringing customers on their website. Now the whole thing is changing. People are brands are moving more on a conversational side, being more closer to the customer, trying to solve a problem in a unique way. So what could be the reason? Is there a specific thing that is enticing them to do that?
Yeah, I think commerce has always been a very touchy-feely thing. So you always walk in the store, you would check out the product, you touch and feel it, right? And you'd engage in a conversation with the store keeper, and then you'd probably make a decision, right? There also might be some chit chat that happens between. So sales marketing is also about building a rapport with your consumers, right? In a day of e-commerce, that is a very disconnected feeling. You go on a site, you click. It's a very lonely commerce journey, right? And that's where I think WhatsApp kind of bridges that gap. It kind of brings back that conversational aspect. It brings that human touch, right, into the conversation, and that's what somehow helps brands in their conversions also.
Interesting. So, what could be the next messaging platform similar to WhatsApp?
Well, I don't think there's anything else that's taken off at this point. To rival WhatsApp. Of course, China has its own versions, etc., that do really well. But I think WhatsApp is here to stay. I think it's ingrained in our daily lives, and it will definitely not be going away anytime soon.
Anything around Google My Business messages?
Well, Google My Business messages seems like a great prospect. I don't think the pickup has been that great at this point of time. Obviously, once there's more adoption that happens, it's also a great way to, of course, be in touch, because a lot of discovery starts right from Google today, right? Unfortunately, that has not taken off. But if there is considerable traction, then yeah, absolutely, why not? We'd go into any platform that where the users are.
Correct. Because these days Google Business Profile maximum retail businesses are quite focused on Google Business Profile.
Correct.
Because maximum calls and request direction happens there. So if chat, people would love to chat, then that could be also one more platform.
Absolutely.
So, is the industry evolving anywhere in this terms? Like, you would love to share anything on the evolution of the industry as a whole?
Yeah, so I think you said it right? Like at one point of time, it started, of course, with physical stores, then it moved into the online world, e-commerce, then moved into mobile apps, right? And then obviously after a certain point of time, everyone realized that no one's going to install an app for everything, right? And now the narrative is, of course, changed to
super apps.
Super apps, right?
Yeah.
And, exactly. And I think WhatsApp is on its path to become a super app as well.
So it's similar to super apps only, where people can do a whole customer journey can be completed within WhatsApp.
Correct. So I think the concept is fairly straightforward, right? Like if you have the user base, you have the engagement, why not, and the stickiness, of course, why not keep the user on the platform for longer? Why not indulge them into other tasks that he might be doing on through his day.
So the whole momentum is also changing. Like initially, the focus was more on customer acquisition, and right now it's more on retention. So how exactly WhatsApp marketing is helping to increase the retention of existing clients, customers?
Yeah, I think brands have figured out that it's twice as expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain a customer, right? And hence, obviously, the attention has turned towards retention more than acquisition for some brands, because that's the only sustainable way to grow. Having said that, WhatsApp plays a key role in when it comes to customer retention, just by virtue of the fact that number one, it can be personalized, right? So there's a lot of affinity with the brand when it comes to personalization, based on the past history, based on their past experiences. The conversations can be customized also. That kind of helps in retention.
Customization, personalization.
Absolutely.
So anything like remarketing, where things work out very well in WhatsApp marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. Remarketing also works, right? But again, right, I think it's not the fact of just sending a remarketing campaign. It's if you had to personalize it, if it had some context as to what the past behavior of the user was, that is a remarketing campaign that would really do.
So how Interakt helps in this particular thing?
Sure. So in terms of engagement and re-engagement, right, and remarketing, we have automated journeys that that a brand can set up. We have campaigns that one can set up in order to, maybe, for example, right, someone's made a purchase from your store, where we allow our merchants to set up a campaign which can re-trigger a reminder, say 30 days or 15 days later, reminding them to purchase a product that they had done before, for example.
So would like to ask the last question about WOW. So how exactly this WOW came into picture? Because it's quite interesting concept, WhatsApp on wheels. And when all the customer acquisition can happen online, and you are already a lot of performance marketing and brand marketing campaigns are already running. You're already 8,000 businesses on board. So why WOW? What's the reason?
Yeah, I think the core reason behind WOW and WhatsApp on wheels was to go there and get the message out there. So exactly what you said, right? Like I think performance marketing can take care of a lot of customer acquisition, etc. Not really required to do physical events, but we really feel that it's also our duty to keep educating the next leg of new merchants that come in, right? And some of this cannot be done via ads solely. There's a lot of interaction and a lot of awareness that one needs to create, a lot of physical demos, etc., that can help. And that's the whole reason behind doing WhatsApp on wheels. And it's primarily to build awareness in the market about WhatsApp, its popularity, its use cases, and how a brand can utilize it to kind of grow and scale their business.
SaaS companies usually refrain from developing those kind of tools which are dependent on a platform.
Correct.
Like certain companies are purely dependent on either Google or Facebook. So here, the risk of developing the whole tool just on WhatsApp, was it a risk or was it a calculated risk?
It's definitely a calculated risk, right? And we're not restricted to any one platform again. The platform will keep evolving into any channel that enjoys the same sort of engagement and adoption from merchants, right? So today it could be WhatsApp, tomorrow it could be Instagram, tomorrow it can be Google Messages also.
But is there a risk, because certain times many companies in past have failed because of this, depending on developing a tool just dependent on a platform?
I think yes and no, right? There's definitely a risk in that sense, but the value add that we're bringing on top of WhatsApp, I think that mitigates the risks that come with it, right? For example, WhatsApp isn't going to build these powerful set of features. So today what Interakt is, it's pretty much WhatsApp on steroids, right? And I think that's something that's going to take a long time for people to get away with. And as long as there's a pull from the market, I think again there's a good chance that you're not going to be out of business anytime soon.
That's true. And I would like to stretch on this particular thing, like creating a pull from the market. So many brands are purely dependent on push, and they rarely get pull. Any specific thing that helps create that pull so that organically brands grow on a high volume?
Yeah, I wouldn't take the credit for the pull, right? WhatsApp by itself is, very popular, right? And with the right amount of education and awareness, I think brands, and obviously they're seeing bigger brands do it, etc. The awareness is building, and I think the pull comes naturally. And then of course we do our fair bit to create it as well.
Correct. So that's a wrap.